Good morning. Welcome to the homestead. Well, I've got to finish that project that I've been doing over the weekend. You know how sometimes you regret starting something? Yeah, I regret that. It's a lot of work, but when it is completed, I think I'm going to be much happier because I've been talking about this all winter long, switching those. So it's a lot of work and I've got to get it finished today. I don't think I'm going to get it perfectly finished today, but I got to get all that stuff into the buildings today. But I do need to take care of this garden. Now, I don't know if I showed you the garden. I don't think I have, and it's doing really, really good. Right behind me is that watermelon plant that I had transplanted from daughter's house that grew from seed of last summer, and it's doing really good. Let me show you. Can you see this? I'll zoom in so you can see it. But that's a big watermelon. I got it netted so it's got some strength to it to hold on to it, and it's doing really good. The zucchini's right here. There's a few zucchini that are started and growing. My corn is right here. I've got a few stalks or cobs of corn that are growing. This is the other watermelon, all the watermelon. But let me show you. Here's a little watermelon. Here's a watermelon. Here's a watermelon. There's a little start right there. Here's a watermelon. This side is doing really well. This side doesn't have any watermelon yet. The watermelon on this side is a different type of watermelon than on this side. I don't remember which is which, but one is the sugar watermelon and one is the bigger watermelon. So I think this is probably the bigger watermelon and this might be the sugar watermelon. Let me show you a cantaloupe plant. As you can see, there's plenty of flowers on the cantaloupe plant. There's little butterflies all over the place. No bees, but lots of little butterflies, which should be pollinating them. The cantaloupe on this side were the ones that I just tossed out from my cantaloupe that I had eaten, and they're doing really good. And equally doing good are the ones where I planted them from seed from a seed packet, and they're doing really well. The cucumbers that I have, the 4 different types of cucumbers, they're doing okay, but they're in grow bags and so they're suffering a little bit. I bought these balls that you put water in and then you stick them in the ground, and supposedly it's supposed to water as the water depletes. Some of the balls are empty, some of the balls are not, so I can only assume that some of the pots I watered better than the others, and so they haven't dried out just yet, and as soon as they dry out they will suck the water out of these tubes. I really want these tubes to work because when we're not here, because we go 2, 3, 4 days in between, that these things will kind of help keep these things alive in our absence. That's my hope. Also, let me show you my tomatoes, and I've done the same thing with the tomatoes, and I've watched them start to suck the water out as well. Some of the pots do that. So I hope it's the water that's in the pot, the moisture that's in the pot, and not the whole idea that the balls don't work. Let me show you. Okay, these right here are the cucumbers, and they are so much bigger and stronger. These are the balls. Like I said, some of them released water. This one still has all its water, so it's not releasing. That one has all these have all their water. Maybe because they're in grow bags, it gets air, it's not doing the same thing. Because here is the tomatoes, and this ball is empty. That ball emptied yesterday. This one must have emptied. These 2 emptied overnight. But those are the tomatoes, and as you can see, I have a tomato right there, and I have a tomato right there. And these 4 look really, really, really good. This one, it's suffering some of the curl leaves and stuff. Not sure why. It's not getting as much water, but you can see the ball has not released the water, so I don't know. of course, the potatoes, I think they're done in the season, and I picked them. Here's a picture. So as you can see, the watermelon seem to be doing the best here. So maybe I'm a watermelon farmer. Anyway, keep you apprised on how the garden's going. Oh, grapevine, rabbit ate the beautiful stalk that was growing. So I need to cover that with one of those hampers that I bought. But when I went in there to go look at them the other day, I got chiggers. So there's chiggers over in there, and they hurt. So I'm kind of hesitant about walking out there again. But I do need to cover them because there is some leaves trying to grow, but we can't have that rabbit eating my grapes, or grapevines, that is. Okay, well, I'm going to do a quick watering, and then we're going to head off and do our task. Okay, here I am. Lee came in from the city, so he's going to help me, and then I'll go home later this evening. And so we've got to get this done today. Foolish of me to think I could have done it in 2 days. Anyway, first thing I need to do is get an umbrella for the other cottage so the camera doesn't get hit by the sun. I went to go in the garage, and Mama Stray is in there with at least one baby. And it's kind of interesting because she brings babies 1, 2 at a time, sometimes 3. I rarely are there 5. When there's 5, it's only for a very short time, and then she takes them all away. She leaves the gray one a lot. The gray one we call Wobbles. It doesn't walk well. It walks, the hind legs do this, and it falls down a lot.
Hey, Wobble Wobble. Is there a Wobble Wobble? And there's our Stray.
So it's got some neurological problems or some type of hip issue going on. Something's happening, and fixing my hat, sorry. Anyway, something's happening. But I also noticed there's a secondary one that also is kind of wobbly in the back, not as bad as the gray Wobbles, but and a lot of times there's 2 in there, and I think it's the gray one and this one. They don't do well out there, and so I think those are the ones she leaves, and the other ones she brings back here and there a little bit at a time. The gray stripe I see more often than the white and black stripe or the other calico, but they do come because I have seen them. Anyway, so she's in there with at least one baby, and so I ended up not getting that umbrella.
What I'm doing is notching the shelf brackets for the overhead shelf just a little bit, about 2 inches, so that the metal shelves will slide all the way back as far as they can. So I'll notch them with the reciprocating saw. Just take a minute or 2, probably take just as long to sweep up as it does anything else. So there you are, that's what I'm doing.
Okay, well, it's not as scary now since I've taken all that cardboard off and the tarp off, but it's still hard to believe that all this stuff is going to go in that cottage, especially with all those shelves. Plus, there's 3, 4 boxes over there that also go in there. So, now I know that I call this the kitchen, and you probably saw me bring toilet paper out. People don't usually keep toilet paper in their kitchen, but that's because we don't have the bathroom finished, and that's where we would store the excess toilet paper. We can't fit it on the RV. We only take a couple of rolls in at a time. Same with the paper towels. And things like briquettes, that belongs in the garage, but we don't have a proper place to store in the garage. So it gets real wet in there. So what we're going to do is eventually get things like briquettes in the garage where they belong, bathroom tissue in the bathroom where it belongs, and so on and so forth. So right now, the kitchen has been a catch-all of things that we use, and not necessarily things we use, but things that we purchased that we're going to use. While the storage unit has been where we just stored the stuff that we own prior to buying this property. And now we're fixing all of that, and we're going to work with that. So anyway, I could keep talking all day, which it'd be a lot easier to stand here under this umbrella talking to you, but we got work to do, so let's get busy. Hi, baby. I was going to find you. Okay, I don't know if you can see, but I got tons of room to work with, and that's a good thing. And so, it's just about organizing it, but that will come another day. I'm not doing that today. We're going back to the city today. I'm not even going to do that next weekend, probably not for a long time, because this is an indoor activity. This going into that cottage when it's super hot is for the birds. So, probably a fall thing. Maybe even a winter thing. Don't need it organized right now. It's not a usable cottage, but this is where all the kitchen stuff will end up. All the appliances. I think I mentioned to you that when I lived in Clovis, we had lots of cupboards in the kitchen. But right outside the kitchen was this wall of cabinets. And they had just 2 shelves. I think Lee added a shelf on one of them. Anyhow, we used to call that our appliance graveyard because that's where the plants go to die. In my case, I use them. Anyhow, speaking of dying, this battery is dying, so let me go change it out real quick. Okay, and here's the final one of the one we call storage. That's going to eventually be the bathroom. Camera's a little crooked, don't worry about it. All this room if you remember when I opened up the door to the cottage when we first started, it was all the way to the door. This one is not. We've got it all cleaned up and organized, and that is such a blessing and a relief, because it was kind of stressful having it such a disarray and not being able to get in when you have to add something. This way we do have room to add stuff if necessary, because there is still stuff in storage, and if we bring something and it might need to be in here, who knows. But the whole idea is we're working towards getting that storage empty. We're going to plug along, and probably not right away because Lee's having that procedure done, but pretty soon we're going to start that next build. We have to finish that cat aviary so the cats can go in and out on their own. And anyhow, let's get cleaned up. Okay, sorry, but I forgot to turn the camera on for the rest of the stuff we did, so oh well, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. You be sure to like, share, press that notification bell, and subscribe, and join us next time on the homestead. Bye bye now, and God bless.